All right, we're back. Conversations Keith, continuing with this massive lineup of political race candidates, and we have Magistrate Week this week. So we have all the magistrates lined up, and they are all coming in to talk about what is important for what you all think and have said is important issues that you want magistrates to discuss. Josh Plummer from District 2.
District 2, yeah.
Kind of explain right off the bat, who is District 2, so somebody watching may say, oh, that's my district.
So if you live in the Butler, Peach Grove, Mount Auburn, Lennoxburg, Kincaid area, that's what District 2 is. We kind of cover that stretch from the Bracken border, Campbell border, and all the way down almost to like 159 right into Falmouth. So if you're in that area, you're looking for me to...
Now, it's not the city of Butler, but it's right up to the bridge of Butler?
It is right up to the bridge.
Yeah, so if you're in Butler, the city, that's not you, but if you're on that other side of the bridge, east side of the Licking River, then that's you, District 2.
Absolutely.
Okay, so Josh, what year did you graduate from high school?
2001.
2001. We've started all these off the same way. What have you been doing since 2001?
Since 2001, so right off the bat when I was like graduating high school is when I started my retail career with H.H. Gregg. A lot of us know that, that if you were shopping at H.H. Gregg when it was in Alexandria, it closed. And then as it was closing, a lot of the dealership guys were coming in from Cary and Alexandria, and they were buying the TVs and stuff like that. And I caught the eye of some of them. So in 2002, I started with Cary Chevrolet and been there ever since. Worked my way up. Sales guy, janitor, you clean the parking lot, wash your car, assisted with the sales desk, and been in the finance department for the last 7 years with the company. I guess my official title on paper is finance director. There is an old school position with that from back in the day, but all of us just make sure we manage every single dollar that comes through the dealership. There's a ton of compliance that goes on. I mean, you're dealing with people's personal information and credit, and it's very easy to mess something up. So anyway, that's what I do every day. 6 days a week at the dealership, and we sell a bunch of cars.
Tell us about your family, too.
Okay, so start with my wife. So I'm married, Campbell County gal, Grand Slick. We actually met at the dealership. She was a receptionist.
She sold her car? Oh, I was going to say.
No, yeah, she
sold her car and she sold you her heart.
Yeah, sold her heart, yeah. And we started dating like, I don't know, 05, 06 time period, something like that. And we were always really quiet about it because, you can't have the receptionist. And everybody thought she was going to funnel the sales calls to me.
Yeah.
So we were married 10 years ago. Sorry, she would shoot me if I said that 9 years ago, is when we were married. Her name is Erin. We have 2 beautiful children. I have a 6-year-old little boy, Bradley. He's in 1st grade. And my 3-year-old daughter, Lydia, she attends Plum Creek in the preschool program.
Gotcha.
My parents are Keith and Amy Plummer. They live in Peach Grove. And then my mother is Dina Deany. My stepfather is Gary Deany. They're in District 3, right? Yeah, that's... trying to think who's running in District 3. I got everybody's names.
Bobby Fogle?
Yeah, Bobby Fogle and Darren Gregg. They live out on 22 there in like the Short Creek area. So I grew up on 2 ends of the county. We were either doing our business in Alexandria, Butler, or going Falmouth to Williamstown. So
Gotcha. All right. So with your financial background there, that'll be a nice segue into the next question, or one of the main questions. There's limitations on what Fiscal Court can do.
Correct.
But how is the best way for Fiscal Court to be generating the revenue to run the county?
So I have a lot of theories on how to generate income. And I read the minutes, and I attend some of the court meetings when I can, and then I watch how the budgets come along, and then I always look at it, and sometimes I see some of us that think critically, like if we spend this amount of money, what's the long-term effect? Or if we don't spend this amount of money, what's the short-term and the long-term effect? One thing that I would like to do with the court to generate money is we need to get people back in our county. I personally know, 10 people that have left, but only 1 that has come in.
Mm-hmm.
So every time I turn around, it's like we're losing another family to Campbell or Kenton or Boone or something like that.
And it's a family who might be building $150,000, $200,000 home.
Property tax,
yes.
and school tax, and so every little thing builds, right? And then if we can gain like 100 new families, just countywide would be really cool for my district. I would love 100 new families.
Yeah.
Right? But think of what happens if we can attract those people, right? Then if we have another 100 new families, and let's say that they average maybe 2 children per household, that's more teachers, more jobs, another gas station, possibly another grocery store. As we build, the area will build. So, there's 1,000 different ways that we can experiment with bringing more money. I'm not about overtaxing individuals. I am a Republican candidate, and I like to be very conservative with every dollar that I spend, and I watch that, to a T. But I guess thinning the tax base is my #1 way to help save us money and gain money for the county.
So, what are some ways that we need to go to attract those people? How do we attract them?
So, well, let's think. If we're going to attract someone to come from Kenton or Campbell, right? They have everything in their backyard. Why are they moving to Pendleton County now? Some are moving for property. Some are moving because, maybe they want a school district change. So things that we need to do is we need to find business to come into our county. There's 1,000 ways that we could find some medium to large size companies. Something that I've been talking about is we have 8 miles of road frontage on the AA. The only person that uses that, 8 miles of road frontage, they're right across the county line in Campbell County, and that is the little grocery store there in California Marketplace. So think about how that one store has changed our whole area, and they're not even in our county, right? So from there, we've got there to Bracken County, man, there could be industrial parkways built. I mean, yeah, we have the mine, right? But that's the only thing, and that's right on the river.
Well, we do have the brand new urgent care
That is
open,
right?
Within the last 2 weeks.
Absolutely. They're on
Which is a great thing to have in that area.
I just did talk to somebody that had to stop there, out of the middle of nowhere at the dealership. And it was just a reminder. I was like, you know what? Yes, I know that that's there. And me and my wife were talking about it. And same way, it's like, hey, if we need something now, we don't have to go all the way to Fort Thomas. So
over July 4th, I had some friends. I do a Bible study, a wrestling Bible study. Great idea. If you see me out and you're a wrestling fan, ask me about it. But anyhow, they come out for July 4th, and we had a little get together at my house. And one of them, they went over the hill to go to the pond fishing, and he's cutting open something with his fillet knife, sliced his hand open. Had to go to the urgent care across from NKU. Told him, I said, if you'd have waited 2 months, I'd have had an urgent care here within miles.
Exactly.
But he had to drive all the way to NKU to get his stitches because it was a Saturday evening, nothing available.
It's a huge asset for our area, for sure.
Yeah.
So think about how many more little things that we could add, right? Not that we would really able to use the river for industrial reasons, but maybe for, pleasure. I mean, yeah, we have Thaxton canoes, but what else could be there? You get some restaurants overlooking the area in our area. In 27, up at, between Butler and Falmouth there's a lot of areas that the company or that the county could, maybe provide access for new buildings. One thing that I'm excited to see, not in my district, but the Pendleton County Country Club, right? What direction does that go, right? So as they decide to build whatever on that lot, right? There's more jobs, right? The golf course becomes open more, right? Maybe more people attend. I mean, there's all kinds of ways that we can generate some money and do that. You sitting here asking me now, and it's like I have so many ideas that they go blank. But
I understand. Yeah. So what you're talking about is just opening the box.
we need to open the box for sure. Yes.
And look for different things in different ways and those kind of things. Other things beyond business opportunities or any other things that we could do to entice people?
So I say this carefully, right? But one idea that I've had, and I want to go back to the new families, right? So what if there was a tax incentive for them to come into our county? So some say, well, what about the county residents that live here, right? What are you going to do for them if you provide someone new? But think of this idea. What if we could say, hey, your property taxes are going to be 50% for 10 years, right? If you were thinking about building a $300,000 home, wouldn't you think about that?
So for new construction.
New construction, or,
yeah.
I mean, think about that. Then after 10 years, right, then maybe there's a graduated scale where you go back into that normal tax bracket. But if we could bring, 50 to 100 new individuals or new families into the county, then the residents that are there, their taxes go down.
And
because we're spreading the base.
And if you would tie it to a local construction,
Correct.
a Pendleton County business construction, you've now
Give me an idea.
you're now enticing them to use a Pendleton County people and put
Absolutely.
Pendleton County to work.
I mean,
and in the long run, you're going to get that tax base.
It is a snowball. It will roll.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, right now, building is huge. I'm trying to get a deck put on the back of my house and can't find one person that's willing to take the time out of the next, 90 days to come and do it because the projects are bigger and better.
Yeah.
Right? So, I think we ride the boom, and whatever the election brings in November for us as a county, whether it's me or someone else sitting in that seat, we need to take this economic boom and we need to transfer it into dollars into our county. So, and it's going to open up so many other things for us. You're probably going to ask me about things like with the dollars with the schools and the SRO. I mean, I think they're struggling to find dollars for that, right? Well, that fixes that problem. So, food for thought for everybody.
Absolutely. So we've kind of talked about that, and that is one of the questions I want to delve into a little bit deeper with the businesses, because that was an area that people have commented on our Facebook page a lot or have made personal contact with me just about the need. There is an area right where you talked about, out in AA, northeast part of the county, that the Fiscal Court has been working on, and Bill Mitchell, about an industrial site. It's owned by a private company. How much should Fiscal Court be involved in helping to develop a private property that would bring in an industrial site, using government funds for a private company's benefit?
So, here's my opinion on that. If a private site is, one, they're either going to be interested in developing on their own, or they're going to come to the county and ask for help. At that point, if they come to the county and ask for help, right, then us as a group have to sit together and we have to figure out what's best for the county. Do we allocate dollars for them? What is the benefit, cause, and effect, right? So, like round numbers, let's say, hey, we can afford this, but we need $100,000 and a turning lane put in, right? So what's a turning lane cost, right? So that has a cost, the $100,000. Where are we taking money away from for the $100,000? How do we recoup our money? How long is it going to take, and how much more do we make, right? I think each scenario is a case-by-case basis, right? Has to be reviewed and voted on as a body. I am all about making money, but if it doesn't make sense, then I'll say no.
And that's probably what you have to do on a daily basis.
Every day.
In the financing, you're all about selling cars, but if it's not helping your business,
Oh,
you have
sure.
to say no.
We 1,000%. We look at every scenario. You know what I mean? Does this make sense? And as a group, we say yes or no, right? And then no different than my money in my house, your money in your house, and our money for the county has to make sense.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's explain that. What do you mean by makes sense?
It has to be paid back and generate dollars for us.
Okay. Us being the county.
Us being the county, correct. Free money is not given to anybody, in my opinion. I don't want to allocate any of the county's tax money that everybody works their butt off for to give to someone just so they can develop a business that may work or may not. Now, I don't know the scenario of what they're going to develop. Let's say that they're going to build a business and it creates 100 jobs, right? Well, 100 jobs in our county would be really awesome. So then we look at that tax dollar. What is it going to generate back into the county? And then what do we spend? Does it make sense? Does it not make sense? I mean, there's just so many cogs in the wheel, you have to look at it at that point in time. Do we wrap the county's money up into paying for something for free that doesn't benefit a return? No, I personally don't believe that.
Okay. Yeah, and not only the jobs it creates, but right now the property value of that property
It's gonna go up.
is a empty farm. You put a building and an industrial site on it, that raise up, and now your property tax revenue goes up.
There's a lot of cogs in the wheels. It
Absolutely.
all has to be looked at.
Absolutely.
And don't mean to stop you there.
No, go ahead.
Sometimes that's what a lot of people don't do. We make knee-jerk decisions and say, yeah, let's do it, and never look at the end result. What if that end result cost us and we never make the money back?
Mhm.
What if we spend the money and it pays for itself tenfold? Right? We just have to look at it as a body and vote on it in agreement. So,
What kind of laws or regulations or stances or whatever it may be do you think about? Because we talked about industrial park, but small business owners. You know, who was it? Rachel Roberts was in here earlier, and she was talking about 75 days. No, I don't think she gave a percent, but the largest employer in the state of Kentucky are small businesses.
absolutely.
So what do we need to do to create an environment in this county to encourage people in the county to start a small business and then help them be successful?
One, I want to say this. I started a small business myself, was just for consulting purposes, and this is for all you guys in Frankfurt. The amount of paperwork that we have to do is silly, right?
Yeah.
This should be streamlined and way easier. Now, some people may think this is the easiest thing in the world, but I'm kind of, a dummy when it comes to that. But I think it took me like 6 hours just to fill that paperwork out. I'm looking at it, I'm going, what am I reading? But
You needed to hire a consultant to help you pay for it.
to do it. So, am I fluent in business law? No, right? But one thing that I do know just from talking to businesses here in Falmouth and in Butler, it's like every time they turn around, they're fighting something small. So limiting regulations for them, letting someone open up a business, providing them a accurate tax break to do so, and let them flourish. Not everything's going to work, but if we're never going to get new business if someone doesn't try. So, and one thing that I read from the Herald Leader not too long ago was that businesses are on a 30% climb here in Kentucky, small business, right? So it seems like in every time we turn around, we see someone new, right? Maybe they stay, maybe they don't. Use the example of here, the last, 5 years in town with a couple different restaurants that's opened up and some of the development. That's awesome, right? I have a reason to come back into Falmouth now, you know what I mean, other than to pay my taxes because I do live so far north. And that's one thing that I love is keeping my money in my county. So limiting regulations, lowering the tax, and
And you're talking about tax on small businesses.
tax on small
specifically.
businesses, yes. Let them give give them a chance to start up and thrive and make some money and set their own path. That's what I would like.
Okay, all right, and that's fine. And if you look at just look at the businesses we have in this county, they started as small business with Wyatt. It started as a small business. Peoples and Woodhead Funeral Homes started probably still
Exactly.
classified as small businesses now, but they started by just mom and pop starting
Yeah, for
something.
generations,
And
too.
all over the place, California Marketplace.
Oh.
You don't have a lot of corporations coming in. It's rare that we get a place like McDonald's to come in and do that.
Exactly.
It's more that you're getting Wells's right over here. That was a
Exactly.
small business and those kind of things. That's the heartbeat of Pendleton
Shell
County.
stations on both ends of the county.
Yeah.
I mean,
Bay
you know,
family.
Those two businesses see more traffic than any place in our county.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How many times that door open a day on both sides?
Yeah.
It's big.
Well, and I had somebody in here and they were talking about Wendy's come down and looked at that at Hardee's. It'd be great to have a Wendy's and Taco Bell, but that money's going to leave the county as far as revenue. If it is a small business owner that is a Pendleton County person
Exactly.
starting a
Stays in the
successful
county.
restaurant there, so much more of that money stays here.
Yeah. One of the focuses is when I said that I was going to, I want to look out for District 2. And District 2 is, we have like that Pendleton Campbell line, right? Could there be something? Yes, absolutely. One I want to talk about that's a sensitive subject for some. Our county's dry, right? Everyone in Pendleton County goes to Campbell County to buy their beer, or at least in my district, you know what I mean? Offering something like that in the future, that's a huge way for the county to generate some money.
And if I understand correctly, that probably wet or dry hasn't been voted upon in decades.
Decades.
Let the people decide. If they don't want it, they don't want it.
You're 1,000% right.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I'm excited for. I move the needle here.
Okay. All right. So are you saying that's an issue that if elected, you want to push
100%.
to get that on the ballot and let the county
Absolutely.
decide?
That
Okay.
would be one of the very first things that I probably advocate for.
Okay. Cool. Moving on, you mentioned about District 2. What are some specific things, and you've kind of touched upon it a little bit with Gamble, but specific to your district, what are some things that people in your district would see you fighting for them about?
Okay. In my district, I don't want to paint the picture that there's not, but our district has, and this is, some of the help from Gary Veris over the years too. We have great roads.
Gary Veris is the present magistrate, has been there for several
We didn't mention
terms.
Gary, sorry Gary.
Yeah, but several terms. He has decided after serving the community for a long time in multiple roles, not just as magistrate, but through Butler Lions Club, he's going to retire from magistrate, which has opened up this seat for Josh and Dennis to kind of look at. And to be honest with you, two great guys.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we have, for the most part, great roads. So if you are an individual that, has an issue, be it road, traffic, neighbor, dog, I go back to neighbor, that's doing door to door. That's the number one thing that someone has asked me about. They're like, hey, this person lives down my road and they're driving me nuts. How do I fix it, right? So what you would do as a constituent, you would reach out to, your elected official, and then we take, that problem case by case basis back to the judge and hopefully provide some type of solution for you. So roads, domestic disputes, as the drug problem kind of has a small issue in our, well, not a big issue in our county, but in my district, it's not an issue because we're rural. I don't have the cities in my county or in my district, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So Butler's not there, Falmouth isn't there. So I don't see or hear of a lot of those particular problems, even though it exists probably. Addiction's a horrible thing, and we're always going to be fighting it, and what is the solution? I have no idea. But as far as what someone would look out to me for, they would say, okay, hey, this is what we want. Go fight for us for it. Be it 1,000 different scenarios. You probably have some ideas. Throw them out.
No, that's okay. Roads was actually the one I was going to ask about, is because that is a big part of the county fiscal budget.
Absolutely.
They get funds from the state level. It doesn't always. I know this year they came real late, and so they were having to wait.
Hence why, like, our project on 27 is happening now.
Yeah, because simply they didn't get the funds from. It was funny because Rick Manier, every single meeting that I would see him at.
Yep.
Have we got our flex funds yet?
Can we
No, they're saying they're coming, and
Sure.
but it just delayed it.
Yep.
So are there any road issues, any things that people have talked to you about, the concerns in the district?
In my district, and as many doors as I've hit, I haven't had one person mention the roads to me.
Okay.
Not one. Now, I haven't ventured down some of the smaller one-laners yet, which that will happen, right? But for the most part, with my schedule and working, I have focused on our 2-lane roads. And of course, I drive those roads every day. Mm-hmm. And the one thing that every time me and my wife come to Falmouth, she's at 27, and I like taking 159 all the way down. She's like, "Why are you doing that?" I said, "Well, because this is the district that I'm running in. I want to see what's going on."
Yeah.
Right. So I haven't seen too many issues, but it is the responsibility of the constituents out there to say, if there's a problem, let us know so we can get it fixed.
Yeah.
But I have not had one person talk to me about, hey, this road is horrible, I need to have it fixed. So props on Mr. Veers there for keeping us nice.
All right, cool. You touch upon the drug issue. District 2 is more of a rural, so you don't have the people walking around where they find needles and those kind of things. But it is a county issue. And so you're part of a fiscal court that has to address issues in the county. What does fiscal court need to do to help battle this drug issue? And this is a question literally I have asked to every single candidate, from judge exec to mayor to county sheriff to representative to senator to magistrate. City councilman will get it next week.
Sure.
What do we need to do?
So, in every area, there has to be an expert, in my opinion. If I'm elected, would me and the 4 magistrates and the judge be an expert on how to tackle the drug issue? Lord, no. I don't think that we would be the experts at all, right? As a body, we could vote on the dollar amount that would be needed to help tackle. That's where we have to reach out to our sheriff at that point, and then our Falmouth and Butler police, you know what I mean? And even state police at that point. They deal with that every day. They're going to tell us what they need, and I think it's our responsibility as a court to ensure that they're not limited, right? Because if they're limited, we're never going to fix it.
Yeah.
So that's really what I have to say about that. If I'm elected, I'm going to be 100% behind whatever they need, as long as it makes sense.
Gotcha. Okay. Fiscal court is a unique body. City council, they all live here in the city, and they all are working together for the city.
Yep.
But for fiscal court, you're representing a district that you're supposed to do the needs for the district, but that might be sometimes you set aside the needs for the district to the benefit of the county. What do you have in your background that has shown the ability to work together and come to a consensus on issues?
So, okay, so I'm going to generalize that. What do I have in my background? One, my background is retail, right? So, 2, my background is executive committee for the last 8 years with the Republican Party. So, me, Bill Matthews, Don Wenzel, Darren Brown, I said Darren Brown.
Darren Gregg?
No, not Darren Gregg. My secretary. Oh, Lord, I completely forgot. Anyway, Mr. Brown. So, he's going to watch this and he's going to go, that Plummer kid. As far as my background, us making decisions, do I work well with others? Yes, but I'm not controversial, but I will ask why, right? Why are we doing this? What are we going to do? I want to push some issues that are important to mine or to me. If there are issues that are important to somebody or someone else, I want to listen to that and then help them along too. On the dealership level, like we are a board, right? Mm-hmm. We sit there and there are 5 of us that make the decisions for the store, right? Does everyone agree? No, not all the time. Sometimes I am the stick in the mud that's like, I don't agree with this at all. Yeah. Let's find a better way. Sometimes I'm the advocate and what I'm saying makes no sense to the others. Yeah. So I guess I'm not answering your question, but I am saying my background gives me the ability to think critically about making good decisions for our county. Yes, and that's kind of one of the reasons why I wanted to do this.
Okay, all right. Well, those are the subjects we the magistrate and the short time we wanted to be able to talk and give you things. But wanted to finish up 2 things. One, if somebody wants to talk to you about an issue, what's the best way to contact you? And then, is there anything you're going to be at over the next couple weeks leading up to the election of where they can talk to you?
Glad you brought that up. Yes, so if anyone wants to contact me, you can always contact me. The cool thing is the bulk of the county knows me through Facebook, right? You can always reach me through there. My cell phone number, I can give my cell phone number here,
That's
right?
your call.
Yeah, so 859-801-3200. If you're in the 2nd District and you have questions and you want to ask me anything about moving forward with this election cycle, feel free. Give me a ring, shoot me a text message. I'm open all day. The next thing is you can always find me at the dealership. However, I am kind of a busy guy. If you got questions about the election, send me a text message and don't show up to the dealership unless you want to buy a car, and then I will happily help you there. So yeah, reach out to me. I'm going to be open to the public if I'm elected. I really don't know anyone that has ever said, well, I want to be elected, but boy, I don't want to be bothered, right? Mm-hmm. I field now in my life probably 100 phone calls and 100 emails a day, right? Some people are like, that ain't nothing, right? But I stay pretty busy all along. I have friends, family referrals. I have a few people reaching out to me about the campaign. So adding a bunch more into my to-do list is not a big deal. I can do that, and I want to serve everybody the best that I can. You can find all of us tomorrow evening, Thursday, which is the 17th, right? Yeah, 18th, at the high school auditorium. The magistrates will be getting up and giving a 2-minute introduction. We'll have, I believe, an introduction on our sheriff's race. We'll have a small debate on the judge's race, right? Debate there? Or are they going to do? Sure. And then I know that our state and house reps will all be there too. So if you want to see us, all of us will be there tomorrow night. I welcome everyone. I'm going to be a jittering fool, probably getting up in front of everybody and introducing myself, because I think last time they said that there was maybe 300 or 400 people there. As far as events through the county, you people in my district there, I will be from today, Wednesday through Sunday, doing nothing but door to door and just some grassroots, right? So, I'll be knocking on the door, forewarn you there. Have questions, have them ready for me.
All right, last question. You're elected, you start January 1st, 4 years from now, your term ends. What would people notice about you serving as their magistrate from the past 4 years?
Here's the one thing that I want from this. One, I want to serve the people of the 2nd District and my county, to the fullest, right? So I want everybody to have confidence in me by the end of that. But I want this new wave of court, whether if it's all new, partly new, I want us to be known as the group that started the ball rolling and getting our county moving.
Okay.
That's what I want.
All right. Well, hey, thanks for coming out. Thanks for
guys.
spending a few minutes. He had to sit in the traffic as he got here this day, so he's learning about roads quickly, having to deal with that traffic.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate your time.
And we'll have a whole series coming up, posting out the next few days about the different magistrates. I've got 5 interviews scheduled today. Had 1 last week. Got all 6 of them that are facing competition. Those will be going up. Check them all out. Make sure that you're informed, and most importantly, make sure you show up. Either you've already cast your absentee ballot, you're getting ready to, or you're going to be somewhere voting on November 6th, because we got to make sure that you're involved to give the direction to the leaders about what they need to be done. Thank you for watching these, and we'll see you soon. This is the worst part. They have to watch me walk up here.